Welcome back to another video. I'm gonna go out in Tokyo now. Go out into the city. I'm gonna film a video. So, see how it goes. Thank you. This video, I'm gonna be sharing with you how to make the shift from your 3D avatar into a 5D level of consciousness. I'm gonna show you how to embody more of your higher self than ever before, and how you can do it with an easy perspective. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron, and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm gonna be walking around Tokyo, which is where I am right now. There's all these streets. I'm gonna do my best not to get hit by a car or anything, but what I'm gonna be doing is sharing with you how to make that shift into a 5D level of consciousness. Now, what I'm gonna also do is share with you this idea that if you begin to adopt in your life, almost like a model for the way that you see the world, because based on the way you see the world is going to be the kind of reality that you experience. And when you change that general belief that you have, you then change the kind of experience you get. So, one thing that was very apparent to me as I was kind of walking around this morning is that, first off, completely different than what I expect. Tokyo's amazing. I'm walking around, and in the morning, I walked up around at like 5 in the morning because what happened was I was going, I got here last night from Las Vegas, so from the States, and when I got back, it was 3 in the afternoon, but it was midnight my time, like my body was at midnight. So I went like a day and a half without sleeping. So I slept last night for about 5 hours, but my body still thinks it's like 3 in the afternoon right now. So I wasn't able to really sleep too long. So I got up this morning and started walking around. And what it reminded me of is, and I guess Japan as well, is known for, have you ever seen the show Avatar? And in a way, what I want to do is show you the metaphor of you understanding that you, in a way, are an avatar in this 3D reality. We grow up and we identify so much with our senses. We identify with that of our, you know, what we can touch, taste, smell, and hear. And based on all of these things, we think that that's who we are because we identify with our senses, and we're almost made to emphasize our senses as we're growing up. We're made to emphasize, you know, I noticed that here too, by the way. There's a lot of stimulation when it comes to like the drinks are really sugary. Not all of them, I'm sure, but very, very good food, but very stimulating. And the stimulation keeps us within a certain level, certain almost bandwidth frequency. It's almost like we're distracted by our senses, and we forget that we're immortal spiritual beings living a temporary human experience. So one of the most easy ways for you to transcend from your 3D avatar into a 5D level of consciousness is to understand that reality is a dream, or you could even say that reality is a form of simulation. So as I walk around right now, I'm carrying this tripod, this little gorilla pod with that of the camera, and I'm walking around in my avatar suit, my human suit that I'm using for this physical incarnation. And the key is I'm aware that it is a suit. I'm aware that it is something that I'm using, but the key is to not get overly identified with it. Because if you get overly identified with it, then that's where attachment comes in, and that's where a lot of resistance and pain is created. So that's something to be aware of. Be aware, first off, that you are an immortal spiritual being living a temporary human experience. Always remember that that's the first and foremost basis for the way you go about interpreting this reality. Because when you always remind yourself of that, it becomes a fun game. You don't take things so serious. When you are think about the 3D reality. First off, what is the difference between 3D reality and 5D reality? 3D reality is all about duality. So think of it as good, bad, light, dark, up, down. These is all different aspects of duality. Now, in order to transcend into a 5D level of consciousness, you don't do it from the 3D perspective. Just like Einstein himself said, you can't solve a problem from the same level of thinking from which the problem was created. Well, in the same exact way, it works out with the 3D reality. You must first off become aware of the 3D reality, and the way you do that is through observation. You become aware that you are in this avatar suit that experiences the reality through the 5 senses, but that is not just who you are. You are actually much more than that. And then what happens is you realize that that's what is a 5D level of consciousness. This is where you realize and you start to embody more of unconditional love. This is where you start to see things as connected. Even all these people that I walk around right now, I and they are another aspect of my own consciousness. So I would never do anything to someone else that I wouldn't do to myself, because literally that other person is a form of me, or is connected to me in that deep way. So It's about having that awareness that your 5D level of consciousness, your higher self in this lifetime, you chose to come to Earth right now to literally merge your lower self, which is the avatar self, the physical body, with that of your higher self, which is your spirit, which is a high vibrational energy. So that's something we signed up for. A lot of people may not remember this, but one of the reasons is we go through a veil of forgetfulness. We forget this. It's part of the purpose of life. Part of the purpose of life is that we remember who we are, because that is like almost like you upgrade the level in a way. So even as I walk around here, when I woke up and there was like nobody around, and it was really cool, very quiet, very serene, it was like I was aware that I could instead observe, understand that it's the experience I'm having, but not become overly identified with it. So the key to this whole process of shifting out of the 3D avatar body and into a 5D level of consciousness is knowing first off who you really are. It's knowing that you are an immortal spiritual being. It's reminding yourself of that over and over again. I'm gonna try not to talk loud. Leor's telling me like there's such a polite culture and so respectful, and I just have a loud voice like naturally, so sometimes when we're at a restaurant I'm like talking really loud, everyone else is kind of quiet, so I'm trying to do my best to be respectful. But in general, just know that making this 3D shift is about the awareness of who you really are. And the way that you find this out is you find it out through awareness. You find it out by asking yourself new questions, by constantly reminding yourself that this is a dream. This is a dream. It's a fun dream. You know, that too, like, what are your beliefs about reality itself? Do you believe that reality is meant to be fun? Do you believe that reality is meant to be serious? Seriousness is a strong sign of ego. Anytime we're very serious about life, every time something that happens has so much deep meaning that makes us feel weighted down, that comes from ego. You may notice the other day I was at the gym, and this used to be me, so I'm not making fun of this person at all, but I was at the gym the other day, and this guy comes into the sauna, and I meditate when I'm in the sauna, but he comes in, he's like very, and he comes in and he like just does this like little like meditation thing. And it's cool because I meditate too, and I could totally relate. However, I could tell that there was a sense of he's on a spiritual path, but I could tell as well that something that would maybe help him is loosening up about the process, having fun with it, you know? So I know when I first went through spiritual awakenings, I started to develop a spiritual ego, because you become aware that you're not just your 3D avatar body, and then it's like a bigger ego kind of comes in the back door. But the key to this is observing even that ego. Observe everything. Understand as well that our framework for the way we see reality is going to be what is projected back to us. This is a shift in consciousness right now. If you just understand this idea, everything you experience in your life is more of you. One of the things that allows us to transcend that of the 3D reality is realizing that we are the 3D reality itself. We are the 3D reality itself. We are the dimension which we live in. See, it's a much more expanded point of view than just the individual spirit or the individual avatar body, but we are everything, because we are connected to everything. That's why what you put out is what you get back. That other person is another version of you, and we orchestrated it that way. With transcending the 3D reality, understand that the other aspect of it that makes this very powerful is knowing that we chose it at every level. Maybe hard to believe for some people, because we may be experiencing that of something that like negative resistance, like things that have happened in our life that we don't prefer to experience. You might say, what do you mean? Well, you are an infinite, immortal spiritual being who is very strong, and you could handle it if you created pain in your life. And you chose it at a certain level, whether it's the free will level or whether it's at a higher level, where it maybe appeared that you didn't have the control over it, but you did. You created it all. Now, why would you do that? Well, you did that because you're an immortal spiritual being and you wanted the experience. You see, imagine this. Imagine that as an infinite spiritual being, or as an infinite source energy, there was nothingness. We were just in an absolute space of bliss, and it was amazing and everything was great. However, after a period of time, we got a little bored, because you need to have something else to have that thing relate to something else for there to be some type of experience. So as an infinite spiritual source energy, what we decided to do is we decided to put ourselves in other avatars in other bodies so that we could go through this experience of remembering who we are, so we could raise our vibration and then get back to the source energy, so we could experience every different aspect of this type of experience that we could have, because it made for that kind of experience. So now, the reason I say that is so that you can really start to embody and know that you chose every aspect of your life, whether you're aware of it or not, and understand that if you treat every situation as if you chose it, your life will begin to transform. That's the way it works. Just like when you're playing a video game, if you were to know the whole entire time that it was just a video game, that none of it was real, you wouldn't take it as serious. So what we decided to do as spiritual beings, we decided to make the ultimate video game where we go through a veil of forgetfulness. We absolutely forget who we are as immortal spiritual beings, so that we can come into a reality where we experience reality through the five senses, where we would then have a process of remembering who we are, which we call spiritual awakening. That's a big upgrade in the level we could call life. And as we upgrade that level, we then gain a better insight as to who we are. We raise our vibration, so then we're feeling higher vibrational states of emotion, and we transcend the lower levels. So that's what spiritual awakening is. That's what we decided to experience in this life, is this transcendence of the old avatar. So this whole entire video right now, I'm going to start heading back to the Airbnb right now. This whole entire video right now is intended to help you shift out of the 3D avatar, not out of it completely, embody it more and more. Decide and choose your beliefs. You see, everything in reality is a reflection of what we believe to be true. We wouldn't have the reality we did unless there was some level of agreement, either at the soul level or as a collective level. The only reason money has power is we've all collectively agreed that these pieces of paper have power, versus other pieces of paper which don't have power, like monopoly money, for example. We agreed to that reality. Now, basically everything you see on the internet is people showing you their belief system. Even me, on this, that makes me no different. I'm sharing with you a belief system that works for me. We're projecting our ideas online, and people can choose what belief system they resonate with or what they don't resonate with. Every time you turn on the media, there's a belief system being thrown at you. Belief system in a world that you don't prefer to experience. Every time you watch an advertisement, there's a belief system that's being thrown at you. Be aware of all of these belief systems and simply decide that you can choose not to believe them. You can choose to let go of what doesn't serve. You can know that if you do take on a belief, that you chose it. You chose it from your attention, you chose it from your intention, and you chose it because you were choosing those thoughts. You were choosing to agree with it and to let it in. Move out of belief and into being. Move into experience. Move into being here now. Realize that you are not just the avatar body. You are an immortal spiritual being having a temporary human experience. You are the reality that you exist in itself. You are beyond just the third dimension. You exist in many different levels because you are a multidimensional being. And the more that you embody that, is the more you'll experience what you want. So let me know what you thought of today's video of me walking around Tokyo doing it. Do you want more videos like this? I know it was very different than the usual videos. Other than that, if you want something that will also help you to transcend the third dimension, and that has to do with raising your vibration. So I have a meditation that will show you how to raise your vibrational set point. It's one of the most powerful meditations I've ever made. Listen to it for 21 days. I think it'll change your life. It's in the top of the description box below. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As, plus sharing my experience here in Tokyo. If you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, I'll be doing a lot of traveling. You can see where I'm going, and I'll share insights and stuff and the whole process along the way. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear so you can see the daily vids that I do. And other than that, as always, peace, much love, and namaste.